Hello.
Right.
Alright, let me just.
Why not?
Yeah, it's gonna do that. Alright, Lou, if you can just introduce yourself and tell me about your impression. The camera.
I'm with the 193rd Rifle Division of the Red Army, and I am a Sarshina of the Signal Company. And I monitor the captured German radios for their frequencies and try to gather intelligence to send it up higher.
So, my next question is why you decided to do the Soviet reenact?
I spent 30 years in Army Reserves of the United States, and when I retired, I was a reenactor earlier of an American unit. When I retired, I always wanted to grow a mustache like this. And I would not wear an American uniform again because I could not honor it by being like this. And I still wanted to reenact, and I found out that in the Soviet Army, men from combat over 50 years could have something like this. And they had Cossacks, and not being of Cossack blood, I decided to do cavalry. And eventually I worked into signals.
Gotcha. Alright, the second question gonna be your thoughts about the Soviet army of that period that you're doing.
My thoughts?
Yep.
An amazing bunch of brave people, which I honor with my prayers. That I have Eastern European blood. I'm a Ball, Lithuanian specifically. What happened in the past, I hold no animosities. I honor the Russian people and their sacrifices in the war. That's why I do this. In our country, they don't teach much about the Russian contribution to the war. And as far as I'm concerned, the Russians won the war. They bought us time to get ready to fight. We were not prepared.
Alright. So, other question comes about your thoughts about World War II in total. How terrible
it was a terrible war. It involved the whole world. But I pray there never will be another, because we've only improved on everything to do ways of killing each other. That the destruction would be massive, and it could be the end of civilization. That we must do everything we can never to reach that point again.
All right.
And not only from the Russian side, from our side also.
All right. So, as to the military man, that's gonna be really interesting to listen what you're gonna say about that. Your thoughts about the relationship between the Russia, back in the day Soviet Union, and the United States in total, back in the days and now, like nowadays, the relationship.
I don't think it's much different today than before, because countries are run by politicians. And politicians don't always mean what they say. They twist words to make you think they're going to do something a certain way, but they do it the way they want anyway. And it's the same on both sides. I understand that in that period of the Great Fatherland War, Stalin had different aims, no matter what he said. and we had different aims with our promises. And because we didn't trust each other, that's why the Cold War came about.
All right. That's
We were not honest with each other.
unfortunately, that's kind of true. So, how about the question? How about your friends, your family, maybe?
My
think
mother-
about you when you're doing the Soviet reenactment. Their
Well,
reaction.
my father passed many years ago before I did the Soviet side. My mother can't understand, being a Lithuanian, how I could do this. But I have been 3 or 4 times to the Soviet Union for small periods of time, a day at a time, as I was transiting to Lithuania and returning. And I have no animosity to the Russian people. They treated me with kindness, everyone I met. Because I would walk the streets and greet Russian people at a bus stop, by saying "Здравствуйте." And with my accent, they knew I was an American. They would try to converse with me. I mean, they were just so super friendly.
All right. So another question comes, and it's gonna be the last one. What do you think about the average Americans think about the average Russian or Russia in total?
That's difficult to say because right now we're going through a transition period and people have hard and fast thoughts on Russia and what it means. There are those that want us to be more open with them, and there are those that want us to be more firm with them. So it's very difficult to say. It's in flux right now. When something happens, we may have to cooperate. And will we do it honestly with each other? And that's when the final decision will be made. I say, I feel that we should be honest with them. Tell them what we think is wrong or right, and try to get them to cooperate to try to correct it. With us also listening to their side. It can't be one-way street. They will have to sacrifice and we will have to sacrifice to find a peaceful way to exist. It does all this clamor of war and building for it. Neither country can exist by going only that route. We forget about our own people and their needs. And that's why we exist. I mean, our country exists to take care of its people. Your country, the Soviet, well, Russia now, exists to take care of its own people.
Yep, and it's gonna be the last question from me. That's really interesting because you was a soldier during the Cold War. So how the thing was going on in the U.S. Army during the Cold War? I mean, do you really recognize the Soviet Union like a real enemy, and you was like almost ready to just conquer the Soviet Union in a day or two, just like attacking it or something like that? Or
I would not have been a frontline soldier. I would have been a support soldier as a military policeman. I probably would have had some work setting up prisoner of war camps and everything, and never would I have mistreated a soldier of another country. Because you don't win wars that way, by mistreating the prisoners. In our country during the Second War, we had prisoner of war camps where the enemy soldiers ate better than our civilians did, because it was mandated that they eat as well as the captured army. And they had access to the same food in quantity and quality. It changed right after the war was over. And that made a lot of the enemy see a little bit of our side of it. And I tell you, and I'll tell you this, I would never want to be on a battlefield face to face with a Russian soldier in a life or death situation, because he believes what he's doing is right, and I believe what I am doing is right. And one of us will have to die.
Fortunately, that's gonna be sad. All right, Luz, thank you for your interview,
Hey,
comrade.
listen,
It's
it has
always
been a
nice
real
to see
pleasure.
you.
I just hope someone hears this and understands that we only do what we're forced to do. And you only do what we're forced to do. That let's talk more and prepare for war less.
Yep.
Let's, in some small ways, start trusting each other.
It's all about our friendship. As we have it here, we have to have that.
Oh, I would love to. Oh, I was invited to go to a reenactment in Russia. Unfortunately, the people that were going to support us here to get there failed in their job, and I was looking forward to the experience.
But maybe in the future we're gonna be able to do that. I would love to visit
Hey,
Russia.
I don't know how many years I have left.
You have a lot. Come on.
No. How old do you think I am?
I'm not really cool about it, but how about 75 maybe? 80.
And I'm still doing this.
You're still doing that. That's really nice because people
But then
are
again,
80.
I don't know how much time I have left, and I would like to see the two countries come a little closer together.
Yep.
I know we can never be like you and I right now. It would take too long, but I would like to see the move started.
Yeah. I mean, you know all that.
Each of us give up something little bit to show the other side we're sincere.
Yep. And it's again all about the politics.
It's politics.
All right.
Somebody always gets rich out of whatever happens.
Yep. Yep. Sure.
You have millionaire now. You have supposedly a capitalistic economy now, where people can develop. You know,
It's in the middle. I'll tell you one thing. It's between socialism and capitalism. You have to live there to understand that part. So.
we are going toward that way, and you are going toward this way.